DC's Absolute Flash issues 2 and 3 just gave Wally West in this universe a complete character arc, and it is amazing the way they do it. Jeff Lemire knows exactly what he's doing with this series, and you guys are going to see in this video. I'm going to merge these two together and tell them in chronological order the best that I can, and I guarantee you are going to identify with this character by the end of the video and love it. So let's go ahead and jump into it. If you didn't see the last video, first of all, go ahead and check that out here. But basically, we got this version of Wally where he is super lonely and ended up getting caught in this terrible accident that gave him his speed. And we've been jumping through time because of that, seeing his whole narrative play out. And they immediately pick up where we left off with that here. And we see as Wally is in this room, this machine, where Barry's basically shielded inside, away from all the chaos. He actually comes out of that trying to reach his hand out to Wally to pull him in and save him as he's spinning out of control, his body being pulled apart throughout this reverberating energy. We have no idea what it is, we have no idea what this machine does, but he is caught in the crossfire, and eventually we see his body start to disintegrate and he fades away. This leaves Barry just stuck in the machine by himself, with Wally completely gone. Just then, Wally's father storms in, having witnessed the whole thing, because remember, Wally ran away from home, so he just followed him here. And he storms up, incorrectly blaming Barry for it, saying, "Alan, what did you do?" And Barry, starting to defend himself, says, "Rudy, I swear, I didn't even know that he was here." And Rudy punches him in the face, saying, "What did you do to my boy?" And just punching him over and over and over again. Rudy is like losing his mind before Barry can finally get his attention, point up at the sky, and show him that Wally is still here, just in some weird energy form. And Wally then screams out in pain before dropping to the ground in human form again, but still kind of glitching in and out of reality. Barry storms over to him saying, Wally, I need you to look at me. I need you to focus, okay? Stay here. Stay with us. Focus your mind." And Wally just panicked, scared, not sure what's going on with his body, says, "Get back. Stay away from me." And he feels a surge of energy that he can't control. And lightning pours out of his chest, shooting Barry directly in his, and he calls out, "Stay away." And we see these bolts of lightning from Wally's chest to Barry's, literally connecting together, and Wally can only do one thing: feel fear. He has no idea what's going on with himself, so instinctively he runs away. But what we learn as he's running out of the lab, out of the building, away from the military base, through the forest, is that the whole time he's been running, Barry was on the other end, attached to him. So he did not die in the machine. He didn't die as part of the explosion. He was being dragged by Wally as he ran and ran and ran, and Wally didn't know how to detach. He didn't know how to let go. He couldn't stop. He was so panicked that he dragged Barry's dead body all the way out to the desert, as we saw in the first issue. His skin was literally being peeled off his bones the entire time while he was running, and that's why he's so distraught about killing Barry. He didn't know how to stop. He couldn't stop himself until he was already dead, which brings us to present day, where he's still being hunted by the rogues, and he hears a little bit of beeping behind him as he realizes that Captain Boomerang's boomerangs have located him. "Found him," Harkness says, sending the coordinates to everybody now. And working off this info, Cold immediately starts freezing up all the exits so Wally can't run, and Golden Glider and Trickster wait on the other side, saying, "Alright, we'll be here and ready." But Trickster chimes in, "I don't like this. Something's not right about this whole operation. The only thing not right here is you, Jesse," Boomerang says. "Now focus." He's on the run, and perfectly according to plan, Wally runs back through the cave the opposite way, not able to get through the ice. So he runs quite literally into a trap where Golden Glider is waiting on the other side and hits him with her lightsabers? He stumbles to the ground and falls a couple feet away from her. "What the hell?" Glider says. And on the comms, she says, "Jesse's right. This kid is weird. Stay alert." And as Wally tries to run away again, he feels a little bit of ice caught up on his foot, and he trips and falls as all the rogues line up in front of him. "Okay, West, that's enough," Colt says. "It's time to go home." And just then, at the thought of having to go back to the base where Barry isn't, reliving all the stress that he was trying to run from, the overwhelming dread, he starts to explode again. Lightning shoots out of his chest once more, and he screams, "Leave me alone," before realizing that it did nothing, and Trickster was actually able to trap everybody in their own little shields. "The hell happened?" Boomerang asks. "You're welcome," Trickster answers. "Told you guys this kid was messed up, but does anyone ever listen to me? Oh no, let's just make fun of Jesse. I should have let you all fry." But like it's nothing, Wally blitzes out of this thing, speeding from one spot to the next before taking off and having Glider chase after him. Using her rocket boots, she catches up to him and reaches out. "I haven't met anything that can outrun me, kid. Just stop now and go back to base." And he looks back at her with some side eye before taking off and leaving her literally in the dust. And he runs all the way to this quiet little farm far away from the desert and sneaks into the barn to pass out. Having been left in the dust, the rogues resort to other options. "Alright, I've had enough of this," Colt says. "Bring him out. It's time to put Grodd to use." And out comes this tiny little monkey from inside the tank. Not this huge gorilla, no, this little green-blue monkey with his brain exposed to open air and pink where the whites of the eyes usually would be. He then gets a call from Wally's dad. Yes, I know, Colonel, but the target has been exhibiting extreme side side effects from the accident. That target is my 15-year-old son, Captain, Rudy says. I don't care what you have to do. Just bring my boy back alive. I understand, Colt says. We've already deployed the monkey. And Rudy then tells someone to bring up Grodd's live feed, showing us that not only was he a science experiment biologically, but they also turned him into some sort of cyber monkey. But as he's telling this person to bring up the live feed, he addresses them by name, and we learn that this guy sitting at the computer has the last name Thawne. Obviously, we know that Eobard Thawne is the name of Professor Zoom or Reverse Flash, whatever you want to call him, Barry Allen's greatest enemy. So we don't know if this is Eobard or Thaddeus or if it's going to be somebody else. This is a different universe, so Jeff Lemire can do literally whatever he wants with this. But that's cool to know that this guy is already in the picture, because in regular continuity, Hunter Zolomon actually worked with Wally West, a police detective, if I'm remembering correctly. So I wonder if this is going to be kind of a blending of Zolomon and Thawne, where he works with the military and then eventually becomes bad later. We'll have to see, but already the bones of something cool there. Nice little Easter egg. But basically, we see Grodd track Wally there and head up to the barn before sneaking in and waking Wally up, freaking him out. Whoa, he says, backing away from Grodd. I know you. I saw you at Fort Fox. You were in the lab. And Grodd reaches a finger out, making nothing but monkey sounds, and Wally laughs, saying, okay, hi, before reaching his finger out, and they touch. Just then, their eyes both start glowing purple, and they've established some sort of psychic connection. Suddenly, they're both able to see through the memories of the other, and we see Wally as a kid with his mom, growing up with her, and then seeing her get diagnosed with cancer and die when he was a lot younger. And then Wally sees Grodd's backstory, where he's just chilling with his mom out in the wild before the military actually shoots her and takes Grodd away to experiment on him. And this actually causes Wally to break down into tears before being able to hear Grodd's thoughts, as if it's in perfect English, as Grodd says, Wally? And Wally thinks, Grodd. And as the tears roll down his face, Grodd puts his little monkey hand up to the side of his head and says, Wally, Grodd, same. And Wally thinks back to him, I'm scared. Grodd, I don't know what to do, before they hear some rumbling outside, before stepping out to see one of Captain Boomerang's boomerangs shooting at the barn and blowing it up with them almost still inside it. They're coming, Wally says, before he starts to freak out again and become unstable. And if you haven't noticed by now, this is very similar to Bruce Banner, right? He gets into a freak accident, and what it activates is actually something deeper. Bruce Banner does not just get angry, it's actually the side effects of long-term, deep-buried trauma. The anger is a result of what he witnessed from his father when he was a kid, the abuse, and that triggers his power as the Hulk. What we see here is very similar in that once Wally starts to feel major anxiety, that activates his speed, the lightning, his powers. So the reason he keeps breaking out and can't control it is because he can't control his anxiety. And it makes sense. If he doesn't have any friends, his mom was his safe space and then she died when he was young, and he doesn't really have opportunities to make friends. He's growing up in what's really an intimidating place to grow up as a kid, a military base, and then moving all the time. I mean, the life of a military brat is not easy, and it's actually pretty easy to understand why he would over time develop something like general anxiety disorder or something like that. And so literally when we saw him connect to Barry, like physically, that was representative of anybody with anxiety's worst fear, trying to connect to someone and then seeing it all go horribly wrong. So the minute he feels that impending doom, the anxiety takes over, and then his powers take over, because he hasn't been given the tools to deal with that anxiety. Until now. Grodd touches his forehead with one finger, saying, Wally no scared, before getting his game face on, saying, Grodd and Wally. Wally and Grodd. And they both stand ready to take on the rogues as they roll in with their tank, before Captain Cold notices, saying, shit, the monkey's gone rogue. And Captain Boomerang flies in saying, you sure we gotta take this kid in alive? Because he's really starting to piss me off. And Wally looks back saying, stay here, Grodd. I've got this. And he runs away thinking to himself, no, I can't run, can I? Not anymore. So I stop for once, and I face it head on. And he controls his own speed for once, rolling up to Captain Boomerang and punching him across the face, sending him flying across the desert. Grodd then runs back up to him saying, Wally, go. And Wally holds his hand back out to him saying, what? No, together. We go together. And as Grodd climbs onto his back, Wally looks at him with a smile saying, Wally and Grodd. And I just love this. I did not expect them to be friends. I didn't know what it was gonna look like, but I didn't expect them to be like partners in crime. You know what I mean? I just love that. I love Wally having a pet and a sidekick, because when you think about it, he's the first Flash of this universe. He's gonna need a sidekick. Grodd is his Kid Flash, and also his friend. But remember, Rudy told Thawne to pull up the live feed so they can see everything that's happening right now through Grodd's eyes. So I don't know what's gonna happen with that. I don't know if Grodd knows that they can see him. Wally definitely doesn't know that. So we're gonna have to see what that means. But basically, as this issue closes out, we get the last little bit of narration from Wally as he rushes back into the cave where he was, saying, any life that I knew before is gone. I can never go back. This is my life now, and I can't outrun it. And he goes back to Barry's corpse and takes the suit off of him, saying, and now realizing that, a calm has come over me, and I feel something that I haven't felt in a long time. And then we see Wally wearing Barry's suit, just like in the main continuity where Barry had died and he took the suit off him, and he is just willingly racing through the desert for the first time with Grodd hanging onto his back with a smile, saying, "I feel free." And I just think this is amazing and a huge testament to Jeff Lemire's writing, because generally it would take like 6 issues for a writer to accomplish this sense of completion in his character arc that we have here in just the first 3 issues, and I love it so much. Now, as for where he goes from here, or how that turns into crime fighting, I mean, we're gonna have to see. He's gonna have to like head into a major city, I feel like, unless it's gonna be even more like the Hulk and he's just hanging out in the desert all the time, but I highly doubt it. Again, I love this little friendship between him and Grodd. I hope it lasts. I hope Grodd doesn't mutate and turn into an evil thing, because that is going to suck if that happens. But yeah, with such a strong start, just 3 issues in, I'm very much looking forward to where this series goes and what we get from this point forward. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. That is the video. Thank you for watching.